It's Chris from Rekkid Talk, and so today we're going to talk about the 10 artists I have the most vinyl albums of. This was an idea I got from Vinyl Richie. He had jumped on something that Melinda Murphy had done, and just to give you some ground rules of what I'm doing, I'm counting vinyl LPs only, so albums, double albums, box sets. That's the way I sorted out all my Discog stuff. So I'm not counting 7-inch records, 12-inch singles, CDs, cassette tapes, anything else. There are some bands I have tons of CDs of, but I have very little or no vinyl. Sonic Youth, I have almost their entire catalog, but there's literally only one on vinyl. Pearl Jam, I have I think 2 or 3 on vinyl. Iron Maiden, I have all their studio albums on CD. I have no vinyl Iron Maiden. Fish is a similar story. Somebody I was pretty heavily into 10, 15, 20 years ago. Not so much now when I've been revitalized in terms of vinyl collecting. And so about 10% of my vinyl LP collection is within these 10 artists that I'll be showing. And so when I watched Richie's video, I left a comment that one of my artists that I have a lot of records of, one of my top highest vinyl album output of, is somebody I don't even like. And he said, oh, you should talk about that. So we'll get into that. We have 3 artists tying for numbers 8, 9, and 10 with 6 albums each. So we'll start off with Lou Reed. And so this was something that I had inherited from my dad's collection. So this is Lou Reed, 1989. This is an OG of it. And this is not going to be the last time I'm going to be showing stuff that I inherited from his collection. Now, in the case of Lou Reed, this was the only one that he had. And so the other 5 are all records that I have purchased. So obviously my collection is mostly due to me. Also at 6 albums is Herbie Hancock. And so you can see here I'm showing you the Perfect Machine from 1988. You can see it's still sealed. It does have a hole punch through it, so as a cutout, and so it was sealed, and there's the hole's been punched through what's been sealed. And I was thinking I was going to make one of those opening up sealed records, ripping off the wax, but let's not bother with that. Let's be like Tuco, the shrink must go. And so, as I haven't even listened to it yet, I should probably go listen to it now. Make sure it's not warped. And so this is 1988, so this is kind of his future jazz electro era. There you go on Columbia Records, nice and clean. Looks pretty flat, so should be okay. We'll see if it's something I like Rocket, or something I don't like that one up, that Feats album. Then that's very tight getting it back in. Also with 6 vinyl records, and this is somebody I also have a lot of on CD and cassette. This is The Cure. So this is that 30th anniversary Wish that I just got recently. So 2 LP, 180 gram, nice fancy inner sleeves. Unfortunately, it's not a gatefold. I kind of don't like it when they have the 2 big fat 180 gram records just in a kind of a chintzy sleeve, but that's what they did. And then I have 3 artists kind of tied for 5, 6, 7 with 7 records each. And so I think this is the most recent artist that I'll be showing today. So this is Sturgill Simpson. I'm showing his most recent record, The Battle of Dude and Juanita. And so this came out in 2021. And so this was after the Cut and Grass records, which apparently aren't part of his 5-album arc, which started with High Top Mountain with very traditional country, and then Meta Modern Sounds, The Sailor's Guide as it was getting more psyche, and then the completely non-country rock psych record, Sound and Fury, and then kind of back to country storytelling with the Ballad of Dude and Juanita. And then somebody else's, we got some Mudhoney here. So this is the Super Fuzz Big Muff EP from 1988. You can see I've got the hype sticker. So this was a reissue. Jackpot and Sub Pop did. It's got a poster. It's limited to 500 copies on some fancy ass purplish vinyl. Let's not get too much into that. And then another one from my dad's collection, but this is not the artist that I don't like. So this is Joni Mitchell. I'm showing Wild Things Run Fast. This was her album from 1982, and in fact, it's the most of the. I got mostly like sort of your classic late 60s, 70s Joni Mitchell records, although there wasn't a blue and vinyl in his collection, but there's like Court and Spark and Hejira and stuff like that. And this album was sort of like a more 80s poppy sounding sort of blend of Court and Hejira. I just listened to it last night. I don't remember the last time I listened to it. I mean, it's okay. I don't think if you don't have any Joni Mitchell, this wouldn't be, if you're going to have like one or two Joni Mitchell records in your collection, this isn't going to be the one you have. I think this would be more for completists. Then my number 4 is going to be Slater-Kinney. And so I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to show my least favorite Slater-Kinney records. This is the most recent one called Path of Wellness. I didn't even bother taking it out of the plastic sleeve. Sorry, Mazzy, but I don't feel like talking about this record very much. They got rid of Janet Weiss. They're making sort of this lame, middle-aged people's music, and it's not very good. And Slater-Kinney's off my instant pre-order list. Next time they put out an album, it's going to get scrutinized before I buy it. The White Stripes will be my number 3. 9 things on vinyl, and this is including all their studio albums and several box sets. If I counted individual discs, they would probably be up to number 2, maybe number 1. And so this is the 20th anniversary of Elephant. This isn't the 20th anniversary edition. My understanding is that they are doing a fancy vault version of it in mono. I don't know why you want 20-year-old records in mono, but so this, of course, has Seven Nation Army and other songs like Ball and Biscuit, Black Math, and The Hardest Button to Button, and cool stuff like that. Not my favorite White Stripes, but I don't really have any White Stripes I really don't like. And now we're going to get into the controversy with my number 2. I have 11 Van Morrison records on vinyl. I have purchased none of them. I'm showing you the one that is the most valuable according to Discogs. This is Too Long in Exile, which looks like Dad bought at Waterloo Records for $13. This came out in 1993. And so it was never released on vinyl in the United States. The vinyls only was in Europe, so obviously he had bought this as an import. Obviously, this is when CD had become king. And looking it up, it turns out that this has never been reissued on vinyl either. It seems like Van doesn't really care all that much about reissuing stuff. It's a 2-disc set. I listened to one of the discs. I mean, it's okay, but again, I'm not fond of Van as a person with his politics or a lot of his social attitudes or just his general misanthropic nature. But I mean, there are some good records, but again, this would be more for a completist. And honestly, if there's somebody out there who is sort of a Van Morrison completist, and this would be something you'd like to add to your collection, you should maybe reach out to me. I'm more interested in maybe doing a trade rather than just selling it, but if that's you, let me know, because I mean, really, this record hardly ever is played by me. Now let's talk about an artist that I actually like. And so we're going to talk about Juliana Hatfield. Yeah. Okay, so I have 12 things of her. on vinyl, which is actually pretty good because she has a big stretch of her career that is a CD only stretch. And yeah, I have those as well. This is her most recent album called Blood. One of the reasons why my count is so high is because I have this in multiple color variants, something I don't get into with other artists. But so I have this in red, but I have it in a few other color variations as well, which I'm not going to bother to drag out. And my Juliana Hatfield count isn't even counting the Juliana Hatfield 3, which would add 2 more pieces of vinyl, or her work with Blake Babies and Minor Alps. Of course, if I got into counting stuff people had done in other bands, I could get some Velvet Underground for Lou Reed, Herbie Hancock appearing on various albums where other people are listed as the leader, like Miles Davis or Bobby Hutcherson, etc. Mark Arm from Mudhoney and Wild Rats. Corin Tucker from Slater-Kinney with the Heavens to Betsy album. Corin Tucker Band. Jack White would pass Van Morrison if I started counting Jack White's solo records. Dead Weather, Rack on Tours. Moving past Van Morrison and put him pretty competitive with Juliana Hatfield. There you go. Artists I have the most vinyl albums of. A lot of them are people I talk about a lot. Some of them not so much. And of course, what I have to go do now is, now that I've opened it, I'm going to go listen to Herbie Hancock's Perfect Machine.